Today, Spokane County passing 1,000 coronavirus cases, what we know about the numbers and the outbreak coming up. Plus, today we are introducing you to this little guy in pick of the litter. Not so little, actually pretty big. We have lots of dogs up for adoption and the shelter is reopening.
Plus, a live look outside shows sunny skies on our Tuesday. It's the first Tuesday of summer, and we'll be talking about how very summer-like weather is coming around for the rest of the day and for even the rest of the week.
KREM 2 News at Noon begins now.
Hi everyone, and thanks for joining us on KREM 2 News at Noon on this beautiful Tuesday. Lots of sunny sky, blue skies out there, and warm temperatures. Evan Narani is standing by with a look at the forecast. Hi Evan.
Hey Laura, it is a very summer-like day outside for sure. Temperatures warming up to the upper 80s and low 90s, not only right now, but likely through the rest of your work week. It depends on where you are as to if you're going to see 90 or not, but hey, you can at least enjoy 80s. Pullman and Sandpoint both right on the cusp of it in the upper 70s right now. Spokane has made it into 80-degree territory. If we make it above 86 today, that will be a record for 2020 so far. So the warmest day so far of the year. Look at Yakima and Moses Lake, 89, almost 90 degrees out there. You can see Spokane is expected to make it into the upper 80s. We have a few clouds that will be building as the rest of the day goes on. No precipitation expected today, but tomorrow we do run into just a few roadblocks. We'll see likely some clouds build and some high mountain showers as this cold front arrives. You can see the view on satellite radar does show that around British Columbia we've seen some showers and clouds, but that's the closest we see any activity as most of the state, along with Idaho and Montana, are staying dry. So coming up in just a bit, we'll talk about how long we see this stretch of 80-degree temperatures and very summer-like weather and when we can expect to cool down on the way. Laura, I'll send things over to you for those headlines.
All right, my friend, thank you very much. Let's take a look at some of the news of the day. Dr. Anthony Fauci did testify before the House Energy and Commerce Committee today on the nation's coronavirus response. He said he is hopeful a vaccine will be found for the coronavirus before the year is over. He's saying before the end of 2020. Dr. Fauci also contradicted what President Trump said at a Tulsa rally last weekend. The president said he wanted to test less for the coronavirus. However, Dr. Fauci says there are plans for the opposite, and there is expected to be an increase in nationwide testing. 3 other witnesses who testified today were also asked about the national coronavirus response and President Trump's comments about slowing down testing specifically. All right, taking a look at coronavirus cases here in Spokane County, the numbers are on the rise. So here's what we know right now, that local health experts say community spread now accounts for 40% of new cases rather than specifically contact tracing. Today, the Spokane Regional Health District reported 53 new cases of the virus. That's the second biggest single day increase since the pandemic began. All three of the biggest single day increases in cases for Spokane County have happened in the month of June. The county now has 1,051 confirmed cases total, and again breaking that 1,000 mark today. Numbers show that the increase is within young people, specifically the age group of 20 to 39. Experts say it accounts for nearly 390 cases. However, no deaths have been reported in that specific age group. 13% of the deaths are reported in people aged 50 to 59. 65% of local deaths are people 70 to 89. Taking a look at employment and specifically unemployment, the Employment Security Department has announced starting tomorrow they will be cutting back on which calls they answer. Department leaders say they hope this will give them a week to catch up on a backlog of claims that have increased dramatically since the pandemic began. Now, you'll still be able to apply for benefits online. They are just planning to cut back on which calls that they answer for this week. Also today, a search is underway for a person responsible for a rash of car fires that happened. We reported on this yesterday in North Spokane. We first brought this to you as breaking news. Take a look. Startled homeowners caught these images on camera at security footage from a homeowner is what we received in as well. It appears to show a woman lighting a fire in a car and then watching it burn. So Spokane police are asking for your help in identifying this woman who may be a person of interest, again, in these car fires. They're also asking for any new information related to the arson or malicious mischief at businesses and different homes all along the North Division corridor. If you have any information that you think is relevant to this story, you can call Crime Check, that number 509-456-2233. The Eastern Washington University Faculty Senate has voted no confidence in University President Dr. Mary Cullinan. The Senate president said they took the vote after the university, they say, failed to make changes to address concerns with the president's leadership, including financial issues. The vote now heading to the school's Board of Trustees. And for more on this consistently changing story, we'll keep updating. You can visit us on KREM.com and always on the KREM 2 mobile app. Washington Governor Jay Inslee has announced the formation of a task force, and this is to specifically address issues of policing and racial justice. The panel will provide recommendations for legislation involving police use of force, and the group includes community members and families who have lost loved ones. Governor Inslee says the only way the state can move forward is by listening to the voices of community members throughout the area. And Seattle police responded to a third shooting in 4 days. This is inside the Capitol Hill occupied zone, and it is now often called CHOP. Harborview Medical Center leaders report they received a shooting victim. That was at 5 o'clock this morning. We know right now is that the victim is male and that he is at last report in satisfactory condition. This is again following other shootings. A 19-year-old man died Saturday following a shooting, and a 33-year-old victim from that same shooting is listed in satisfactory condition and no longer in intensive care. Again, that's at Harborview. So again, continuing to follow what is the third shooting in 4 days in that area in Seattle. Now, the Seattle mayor says the city is now working to dismantle CHOP. Right now, city officials have not outlined the plan for dismantling the zone. Yesterday, the mayor said the violence was distracting from changes sought by thousands of peaceful protesters who want to address racial inequity and police brutality.
Well, we believe individuals, organizations, and others can continue to gather on Capitol Hill peacefully. The continued disorder, the violence, and the impacts on residents and businesses are not just at odds with the message of justice and equity. They cannot continue to occur. We are working with community to bring this to an end. No violence is acceptable, and we have worked hard to address gun violence in our city, particularly youth violence. Yet Saturday, a 19-year-old tragically lost his life to gun violence. As a mother of a 19-year-old boy, I cannot imagine the pain of his mother and his family.
And the city on the west side is also working to reopen their East Precinct Officers left the precinct in Capitol Hill back on June 11th after protesters occupied the area and demanded police reform. So again, working to reopen that area. One local photographer found himself in the middle of Minneapolis when the protests were at their peak. The Coeur d'Alene man says he cannot believe how much empathy and humanity he was able to capture after the violent nights. Take a look.
It's too late. How do we fix it?
What do we want?
Justice!
What do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
What do we want it?
Now!
I think right now we're learning a lot about culture, and we're learning a lot about people.
We work hard every day to protect the city streets.
These are all moments in history. Normally you don't get like multiple moments in history a year. I was in Minneapolis just for a wedding. It was a destination wedding. Someone hired me to go photograph. And so I flew in last second Thursday night, and Thursday night is when everything burned down. I was in the air the whole day, and I had zero clue, none, of what was happening. I didn't know there was protests happening. I opened the blinds first thing in the morning, and it was a war zone. And I said, how do I get there? I'm going right now. And I ran up, grabbed my camera, got in my car, and I just ran. There's literally like firefighters trying to get out of fire out of this building, and then this building's still burning. So I ended up being, I think it was like 6 days on the ground.
Not just for my brother, but for everybody. starts now. You know, the conversation starts right now.
I saw thousands of protesters that if you would hear a broken window, everyone would jump on that person and they would call the police.
With a raised fist and a picket sign.
99.9% of people are trying to do things the right way. There was hundreds of people out cleaning the graffiti off of the walls. 100-degree heat, super hot, so tedious. It just, everyone came together. It's so beautiful to watch.
So I want you guys to understand I love all of you.
It's a very complex issue, and I think the number one goal here is just empathy. There's going to be a lot of things that all people won't understand. I'm a Caucasian male. I don't understand the majority of these things, but just empathy to go out, be there, listen to the stories. You don't have to agree with everything that everyone's saying. That's not the point. The point is just to be empathetic to people that have had difficult situations and suffered, and to try to come together during these times, not divide ourselves.